All right. Welcome. Welcome. I'm back again, once again, time and time again, my friends. And you know what we do over here? Just just a quick and brief update on what the market is doing and my potential directions and in my opinion where I think the market will go. So make sure you are subscribed with the post notifications turned on. That way you get notified anytime I do go live, which is in between 3 p.m. and 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Monday, Wednesday, and Fridays every week. So go ahead, tap in, come kick it with your boy, ask some questions, get all your questions answered that you might have. Potentially learn some directions the market may go you could take advantage of as well. So let's get it started. What we always do is go over AUD USD. Or XAU USD, I'm sorry, excuse me. XAU USD from the monthly time frame is pushing above some structure. We are starting to get a little bit of retracement right now, but we've had a very, very strong push to the upside where we could see potential continuations. If we drop down to the weekly, last spoke about it, as we want to see is the market come back for some retracement. Somewhere right around in these areas would be ideal for a continuation to the upside. But now we're starting to see the retracement come just as we want to see. That's just the way the market moves. We have a nice and easy impulse to the upside on the daily time frame as well, with a nice retracement coming back down. That does look like it wants to reach this potential area we marked up last time we had the live stream on Friday, which would be ideal if it does start to show signs of the next impulse to see a continuation to the upside. XAG USD monthly time frame on the monthly pushing to the upside as well, starting a little bit of a retracement. On the weekly, you can see we're starting this retracement to the downside. We have several areas the market could come into that is acting as previous structure resistance that could be support for a continuation to the upside as well. And if we do drop down to the daily time frame, you can see we are broken below some structure where we would need to see some structure created and broken back to the upside before we start to look for possible opportunities on this market. But that could be a play coming soon. XBT USD monthly time frame on the monthly pushing to the upside as well, starting the retracement as well on the weekly. You can see we've came down into this area where we would like to see the market come to before we start to see trend continuation. And if we look at the daily time frame, you can see we've had a nice and easy impulse to the downside where we would need to see this level of structure broken to the upside before we start to look for possible moves to the upside, or possible levels of structure before it even reaches. If it starts to break structure to the upside, creating higher highs and higher lows, it could possibly present an opportunity. Now, if we look at U.S. oil, what we simply had was previous structure resistance on the monthly that did act as support to some extent, and then the market rejected that area of resistance right in here quite aggressively a few times before the market started to push down to the downside. Now on the monthly, we are pushing to the downside, where we are starting to see some sort of retracement. And just as we spoke about in previous streams, after this break to the downside, we'd like to see a retracement to come back and retest some of these levels for more continuation to the downside if possible. And if we do drop down to the daily time frame, you can see we did and have gotten that impulse, which looks like it's going to end itself, and then we can start the retracement for further continuations to the downside on this market. Now we can hop right into the Forex market, starting with Euro USD on the monthly time frame, pushing to the upside. Did come into previous structure resistance previous structure support that should act as resistance. Currently now, we are starting to see that on the weekly. We are starting to push to the downside starting this week, where we could see more continuation throughout the rest of this week. And on the daily time frame, we are starting to get exactly what I spoke about in the last stream as well. So we are starting to break below some daily structure. If we did get some retracements coming back to some of these previous structure levels broken, then there would be a possible opportunity to see the market continue to the downside, just simply for the monthly, what would be monthly trend continuation. But just simply put, here on the short end, after this explosion to the upside would be the retracement we'd like to see come back down here if the market does want to continue to the upside. But more moves to the downside. As stated by the monthly, we are still underneath previous structure support, now turned resistance. GBP USD on the monthly time frame coming into that area as well. Previous structure support now acting as resistance. We could see a little pull away. On the weekly time frame, we are starting to get some moves to the downside. And if we do look at the daily time frame, you can see we have some levels in here that if broken and closed below, you could see possible continuation to the downside after some retracements. AUD USD monthly time frame came into previous structure support, now turned resistance as well, starting to retrace. Monthly trend continuing. On the weekly, we are starting to see the moves to the downside as we spoke about in the last stream. And then on the daily, we are starting to see that happen as it is right now. We're starting to see the break below, close below, and then we're starting to see the move to the downside. If some sort of retracement comes out of this area, it could be a possible move to the downside to come retest some previous structure resistance that should act as support. USD CAD monthly time frame. On the monthly, extremely bullish, pushing to the upside, needed a retracement in order to continue the trend. You can't move in one direction forever. We did get the retracement on the weekly, and now we're starting to see the move to the upside to go ahead and complete the weekly pattern of the information. That is a pattern that completes 80 to 90% of the time. So we had the move up, move down, move back up. We'd like to see this market come complete at the neckline. And if we do drop down to let me clean this up just a hair. And if we do drop down to the daily time frame, you can see we are starting to break above some structure where we could possibly get impulse ended up in here, have more continuation to the upside to go ahead and just complete the monthly trend, the monthly market structure to see even higher prices get made. NZD USD on the monthly time frame, right at previous structure support, now turned resistance, starting to see the pull away. On the weekly, we're starting to see the reaction happen, starting to see the move to the downside for what would be a weekly retracement. But if we do look at the daily time frame, you can see we've had a double top right in this area, and after that, you expect the market to break below the neckline for a retracement, which would be a pattern that completes 80 to 90% of the time, and then more continuation to the downside, just simply put from a daily time frame perspective. USD CHF monthly time frame, now extremely bearish with this move to the downside, did come retest some monthly support right in this area, starting to pull away, getting rejected from that as expected. If we do drop down to the weekly, you can see that we've had a nice and easy move to the downside, breaking structure. We are starting to get the weekly retracement as it is right now, where we could see more continuation to the downside. And if we drop down to the daily time frame, you can see a nice and easy move to the downside, nice and easy slow retracement. I will be looking for more continuations to the downside on USD CHF if the possible opportunities present themselves. And if we look at USD JPY from the monthly time frame, you can see that we are extremely bullish, but we did have the retracement on the monthly time frame, come back, retest previous structure resistance that's acting as support right now. We're starting to see the market pull away from this area. If we look at the weekly time frame, you can see we are still bearish as a weekly standpoint with this move to the downside, all this momentum on this candle. We would need to see some levels of structure created and broken to the upside first before we start to look for buy opportunities on this market from a weekly time frame perspective. But if we do drop down to the daily time frame, you can see that we do have all this area that the market is likely to come into that could present possible daily patterns, DP1s. For the strategies that we use, if you would like to get those, go ahead and check the link in the description. You'll have full access to all the strategies that I use to navigate the market in a consistent and profitable way on a daily basis. Now that's pretty much the Forex market and what we go over here. Now we can drop down to BTC USD and hit that. BTC USD monthly time frame. Simply put, previous structure resistance should have some support all in this area. We are starting to move to the downside very aggressively, and we are bearish on the monthly, so more continuation should be the way that you're looking to trade, just following the trend. It sounds cliche, but the trend is your friend. On the weekly, we are pushing to the downside, continuing to push to the downside as well. We could possibly get some retracements after this ends, which could set us up for more continuations to the downside, more selling pressure throughout this market. And if we do drop down to the daily time frame, you can see that we have been speaking about BTC USD as still being bearish and continuing this move to the downside for a lower low to be created. So that opportunities could still happen. The actual entry for this could possibly have already passed. We were looking for it somewhere around in here. If you're not in, it's almost too late because you don't want to be entering in to sell positions at support. But other than that, that's pretty much it. That'll sum it up. Keep it real short and sweet going into this week. Hopefully everyone has started the week off with a good trading week, some good opportunities, some good trades. But I'm going to let y'all go. Go ahead and let you do what you do. Get on with your day. So I hope everyone is having a profitable day on and off the charts. And until next time.